Let's start with that tweet from President Trump today, what it means for Rod Rosenstein's involvement in the Russia probe. What do you think? I'm being investigated, Jessica. What does that mean to you? Does that necessarily mean he's being investigated, or did he mean something else?
No, I think he meant it. Most of the time, I have a question as to what he meant. This morning, he was actually quite exact, and I found Twitter hugely amusing this morning. They're pulling up all the old tweets, right, of Sarah Huckabee saying, if you're being investigated by the FBI, you shouldn't be president, about Hillary Clinton, right? Trump saying, you can't have a president who's being investigated by the FBI. Well, lo and behold, we do have a president who's being investigated. I think it's better to have all of that out there. I think that he should engage in the conversation if he wants Twitter to be his official statements. He should certainly talk to his lawyer beforehand when he does things like that, because I'm sure his legal team is none too pleased about what's going on. But if this is his mode of communication, I'd rather he be honest, frankly, than be telling us lies.
I would too.
Well, has he said that?
That what?
Said what?
I mean, Aaron, have we found out that President Donald Trump is being investigated?
He said, I am being investigated.
He said, according to the Washington Post,
well, that's what his legal team said.
Anonymous leaks.
Okay, but yeah, he would have said, fake news, Washington Post says I'm being investigated.
Well, I think he's being more hypocritical. He's being more
I don't understand what you're saying,
the person who recommended I fire Comey is now thinking about investigating.
That was my favorite part. It was the man who suggested that I fire Comey. After he said I was going to fire him anyway, after he said it first, Rosenstein recommended it to. I mean, what is it? He went back and forth on that story.
But Rosenstein did send a memo to Donald Trump saying, I would recommend letting Comey go. And Trump said, yeah, I got the memo, but I also wanted to do it.
But the president asked him for that memo. He said he was going to fire Comey anyway. He's been back and forth on that.
Right, but you don't see the hypocrisy of the guy who recommended firing Comey being at the forefront of the investigation into why he fired Comey.
Which he was going to do anyway.
That's the point, yeah.
But I see what you're saying, Aaron. I see what you're saying. You're saying the hypocrisy amongst... This is a guy who made a recommendation around the status, the employment status of James Comey, who is now being, at least in the front end, also involved in the investigation as to why Comey was actually fired.
No, I understand that part.
But isn't he taking the right kind of responsibility then and saying that he may have to recuse himself from this?
I agree.
I think that he's acted completely appropriately and diplomatically here. I don't know what happened in that conversation where Donald Trump asked him to write that letter, but it seems like he's done nothing inappropriate.
So what's going to happen, Jess, on the left when and if Rod Rosenstein recuses himself? So if Sessions recusing himself, number one. Number two, Rosenstein recuses. You're down to Rachel Brand, who's a Harvard graduate, U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and works for Bush 43, but the left is going crazy, saying they don't want her either.
No,
are you going to keep having people recuse themselves?
No,
Do you find a liberal that'll stick it to Trump?
I mean, there are plenty of liberals and Republicans who, if he is guilty of this, are going to be thrilled to stick it to Trump. I don't think it's about party anymore. I mean, Bob Mueller is a Republican. People are going crazy that he's hired all these Democrats who maxed out to Hillary Clinton at $2,700.
Well, you don't think that's a slight conflict of interest there?
No, I don't.
You're a donor to Hillary Clinton. You're a Democrat, and you're coming on to investigate the Republican president?
Do you only think that people can be independents and have these jobs, or they have to be non-voters?
I'm all for independents having jobs.
I also like people who may not be donors. I mean, you can also be a Democrat without being a major political donor.
A $2,700 donation does
is
not
the max.
mean that they...
Is the max.
It is the max, but it doesn't mean that they were bundlers who raised billions of dollars or these elections, millions and billions, because we spend too much on elections. I mean,
there's a reason why we shouldn't and don't, as media journalists, opinion journalists even, shouldn't and don't contribute to campaigns.
Because people do read into it, I think, the wrong way, or can certainly make a case for the sense that maybe your objectivity is compromised. Now, I agree with you, Jessica. I don't like the presumption that by automatically associating yourself with a political party, you now cannot do your job in any capacity. We don't want to set that precedent. But if you are looking to make that argument, it becomes easier when there's a donation.
Right.
100%. Good luck finding independence in the legal field. I mean,
good luck.
You're sitting next to one.
Well,
Aaron, not independence, but I don't know which way you lean right or you lean left, but I'm guessing that do you make political donations to campaigns?
I don't.
Okay, why?
Because I'm a journalist.
Exactly. So why is that too high of a standard to expect? Is that too high of a standard to expect a guy who's going to investigate the president to not have been a political donor to Hillary Clinton?
I understand what you're saying, but I am curious as to who would be appropriate then?
Someone
who
a lot of people
donated to Hillary or Trump
who are making $1,000 an hour plus, and you need to find 15 of them who are well qualified enough, and they have never made a political donation in their lives. You're going to be hard pressed to find
absolutely in their lives, and certainly not to the opponent that he
okay, so to the opponent. Okay, all right. Deputy, well, I mean, you know, even Trump's, the person who Trump nominated for the replacement, he's given to Republicans. And when you're in these positions, you are often somebody who does donate to candidates.
I will say, when I was in private practice, to your point, Aaron, I actually tried to make it a habit of not donating. I think I gave $50 one time. Other than that, I don't, because, again, this becomes the perception. And so you're right, that's not the rule of law for legal experts or other people that work in the legal field. But I do think maybe that is something we should explore. Maybe as attorneys, we shouldn't be donating either.
But does it bother you that Mueller is a Republican then, Eric? Do you think that he should be...
Please, you know, you and I have worked together for so long.
I know, it's so great, isn't it?
Listen to me. I don't have a problem with their political affiliation. I have a problem that they maxed out their donation to the Democrat who was Donald Trump's adversary.
She's in the woods now.
I know, but why pick them? That means they clearly have a bias towards Hillary Clinton, towards liberalism, against Donald Trump.
I'm not sure that that's what it means when they serve in a position that is first and foremost about serving your country over your party. I mean,
would you want the person investigating Donald Trump have that person have been a political donor to Donald Trump campaign? Would you accept that as a liberal?
I absolutely would accept that as a liberal, because I understand that people have, I deal with people who back candidates that I don't enjoy all the time, and I respect them as colleagues and as friends.
All right, well.
I don't donate.